The Deputy Speaker of the Polish Parliament and co-leader of the Confederation Party, Krzysztof Bosak. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. Thank you for your invitation.
Can I start on Ukraine? Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk says this is, quote, our war. Do you believe Poland is and should be Kyiv's strongest partner?
Well, without Polish support, Ukraine probably would not defend themselves and would not fight for last years. So I think this is not a hypothetical question. In fact, Poland is a key ally for Ukraine struggling to fight for their independence. But I don't like this phrase which was used by Prime Minister Donald Tusk, because I think it is important for us to see the difference between the country which is in fact in the war and other countries which support the country which is fighting. I think that this difference is quite important for our international strategy, and we need not to be a part of this war. Yes, we support Ukraine, but we don't want to be in the war.
In respect to the support for Ukraine, your party has rallied against support for Ukrainians in Poland. Why is that?
Well, we should see the difference between support for refugees and economic mass immigration from Ukraine, and we have to analyze carefully all legal instruments that are used by the states, by the state. We had more than 1 million economic migrants before the full-scale invasion. We were quite critical to giving them too much social benefits also before the war. So our criticism is not because of the war, not because of refugees, but because of poor strategy of previous government and current government in dealing with all these very big numbers of people. We believe that we should not build a parallel legal framework for Ukrainian citizens. Now we have, let's say, 3 legal orders, one for Polish citizens, another for foreigners, and the third for Ukrainian citizens. And this third legal order with full rights to healthcare, social benefits is temporal, and we need to establish new law once a year to extend it to next period. And we believe it would be better to treat all Ukrainian citizens as any other foreigner, as equal to other foreigners, not on special rights. We believe that any special instruments were maybe needed just after full-scale invasion, when we truly had thousands of refugees on our border, but it was 2 years ago.
You talk about the economy. Is there an argument to be made that Ukrainian refugees really benefit the economy? I was reading a UN report found that Ukrainian refugees generated 2.4% of GDP last year. Wages of Polish citizens went up and unemployment went down. I mean, that to me sounds like a big win for Poland.
Of course, it's obvious that every person who lives in Poland and who works in Poland is benefiting to the economy. It's obvious that the discussion is it fair reason to give some privileges, for example, in healthcare system. If you are a Polish citizen, you have to pay to the healthcare system to give all the goods. If you have Ukrainian passport, you don't need to pay anything, and you can get everything. Now it is changing a little bit. They are tightening this, but only 11 special services in healthcare system will be excluded. The rest stays. So we believe that it should not be like that. Yes, Ukrainian citizens should be treated not better than Polish citizen. It's against, let's say, natural order of political rights in the state to put somebody from abroad even higher than your own citizens. This is the reason of our criticism. And we do not deny that every person who lives here, works here, buys goods here, is giving some advantage to the economy, but we are not materialists, so we don't only count the money, we also have to see the system of values, the constitutional order of the country, and in my opinion it's even higher than the economy.
But do you believe that Ukrainian refugees bring benefit to Poland?
Well, it depends who we talk. There are millions.
But there are Ukrainian refugees that do,
there are
right?
millions of different people. Yes, there are hardworking, good people, and there
Including
are
Ukrainian
and there are
refugees.
people who are not Ukrainian but with Ukrainian passports. For example, Georgian people with Ukrainian passports, Russian people with Ukrainian passports, people of other nationality, people who made some crimes. Very different people. So we are very open for good people, but we believe that the state should control who is coming here. And in fact, the last 3 years show to us that Polish state has no control even on who is here. For example, we are still struggling to regain the money that was taken by people who didn't live in Poland, but they took benefits from Polish social system.
While I have you, Russia, is it a friend or an enemy?
Of course, an enemy.
Your party has often been called pro-Russian or anti-Ukrainian.
No. It's completely not true. We never made any pro-Russian statement. Even after the conquering of Crimea, our statement was very clear that we support international law and we criticize all such acts. And after full-scale invasion, our position was also very clear. We never made any pro-Russian statement. It is a lie and a false accusation.
But for example, one of the most crucial demands of the Kremlin towards Ukraine and the West is a ban on Ukrainian accession to NATO. That also was Sławomir Menczen's position in the presidential campaign.
Oh yes, but it's not only our position, it's also a position of American diplomacy and many Western states. First, we believe that it is impossible to take to NATO state which is in the war. So this discussion, this debate is, in my opinion, completely theoretical. Second, if you take any country to NATO, you take an obligation to defend this country against any enemy. And in my opinion, it's obvious, but political correctness stop many politicians in saying it openly, that Western nations are not ready to go into the war for Ukraine. We see this now. Nobody wants to send troops or join the war. And of course we know why. And Russia is still, unfortunately, quite strong. And Western nations are not ready to the war with Russia. So this is the reason, not because we like this or we don't like another. It's not about feelings, it's about international strategy and balance of power, unfortunately. I would like it to be in a different way, but this is how it is.
If you were Prime Minister, how would you change the relationship with Vladimir Putin or Russia? Would you change it to
Russia?
Poland's relationship with Russia?
For now, I do not see any chance to change it. Maybe after the war, probably after the war, every Western country will look for some way to normalize relations with Russia. But for now, I can't see this.
Do you want to be Prime Minister one day?
I didn't imagine such a scenario.
So you're ruling it out, or?
I will not answer because I think it's not good to make speculations about somebody's own career.
Lastly, I want to come back to you criticising Donald Tusk's use of our war. At what point is this conflict not just about protecting a neighbour, but also about protecting Polish interests and ensuring the security of Poland and of Europe?
It's more than ever. After this attack of drones, we see that Russia is very hostile also towards Poland. It's not something new for us. We had, before the full-scale invasion, we had conflict on the Belarus border. We know that it was artificially created. It's not a normal border crisis, but it was created intentionally before the invasion to take our troops to the border and to make some chaos and maybe some pressure on the society. Russia is a big risk for us, and I think in every debate on this forum it's obvious for everybody.
Krzysztof Bosak, thank you again for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.